quiet town, a shadowy figure, and a mysterious gas that left its victims frozen with fear. 1944, Mattoon, Illinois, became the scene of one of the strangest and most unsettling unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Residents began to wake in the middle of the night to a cloying, sweet, sickly scent, followed by dizziness, nausea, and their limbs becoming paralyzed. Reports of a shadowy figure seen lurking in the darkness spread rapidly, and soon the whole town was gripped by paranoia. Was it the work of a criminal mastermind, or maybe a German spy testing a new form of chemical warfare, or perhaps it was something even more sinister lurking in the Mattoon darkness? Find out as we uncover the bizarre but true mystery of the Mad Gasser of Mattoon. The first reported incident of mysterious gas occurred on the 31st of August 1944. A local man awoke feeling ill, convinced that there was a gas leak inside his house. His wife attempted to investigate, but soon found herself unable to move, completely paralyzed in her bed. Soon, a neighbor shared a similar experience, but no gas leaks or other explanations could be found in either of their houses, and the incidents were soon forgotten. But on the night of the 1st of September, another Mattoon resident, Arlene Kearney, experienced something even more terrifying. A pungent odor filled her bedroom, followed by an alarming numbness spreading through the limbs of her body. She struggled to call for help as the strange sensations overcame her, only for the symptoms to fade suddenly after a few more minutes. The police were called this time, but nothing untoward was to be found anywhere inside her house. Later that evening, though, Arlene's husband, Bert Kearney, arrived home late from work as a taxi driver. As he pulled into the drive, he spotted a figure lingering outside their house. A tall individual in dark clothing, wearing a tightly fitting cap. Assuming him to be a window peeper, Bert gave chase immediately, attempting to confront the man, but the figure ran from him and disappeared into the night. With reports now piling up, the local newspaper, the Mattoon Journal Gazette, ran a story on what they dubbed the anesthetic prowler, but their sensational writing of the case only fueled even more panic as further residents began to hysterically come forward with their own eerily similar accounts of gas attacks happening inside their homes. By the 5th of September, the police too had received numerous reports of mysterious gas attacks from all across the town. Witnesses consistently described the same sickly sweet aroma, followed by nausea and a sense of physical paralysis, some for up to half an hour. Often a fleeting figure would be seen prowling near their homes, but no one was ever caught. The attacks weren't just isolated to one part of town either. Reports began to emerge from multiple neighborhoods all across Mattoon. Many victims described experiencing sudden nausea, blurred vision, and the same strange tingling sensations in their extremities. Some even claimed to have seen a thin blue vapor lingering in the air before the effects set in. Others reported hearing a faint buzzing or a hissing noise just before they were overcome. One of the most disturbing clues, though, emerged when Beulah Cordes and her husband returned home to discover a white cloth left on their porch. Picking it up to investigate the strange odor coming from the fabric, Beulah was immediately overwhelmed by dizziness before her face began to swell alarmingly and her mouth started to bleed. The police were called instantly, and a skeleton key and empty lipstick tube were found nearby, deepening the mystery even further. But despite attempts to analyze the cloth, no concrete evidence ever surfaced to explain why it had had such a terrifying effect on its victim. Theories emerged that the attacker might have been attempting to break into homes, using gas as a way to incapacitate their potential victims. But again, nothing was ever substantiated. As the reports increased, the fear levels escalated, and the local authorities began to struggle maintaining order. The police force was already short-staffed. Many officers were away serving overseas as World War II continued to rage in Europe and Asia. In their absence, the citizens of Mattoon started to form their own nighttime patrols. Armed with rifles, shotguns and clubs, they became more and more determined to catch the culprit for themselves. However, despite their best efforts, the masked attacker always remained elusive, slipping away just before anybody could react. Some residents began to speculate that the attacker was maybe using some type of pesticide sprayer or flip gun, devices that are commonly used for dispensing insecticides. These tools could easily be repurposed to dispense the mysterious gas, allowing the gasser to attack from a distance before quickly and quietly slipping away back into the night. As the days went on, the hysteria began to spill out beyond Mattoon itself. The story even caught national attention, and the theories began circulating across the whole country. Some believed that the Mad Gasser could maybe be an escaped asylum patient using a homemade concoction to terrorize the town for fun. Others speculated that the incidents were caused by people's wartime paranoia, fueled by the very real fear of foreign espionage and the possibility that a German spy may be using the town to conduct some sort of secret chemical warfare tests. By this point, though, the struggling authorities had already summoned 2 FBI agents. However, this appeared to increase the fear levels rather than reassuring residents, many of whom now even refused to sleep alone in their own houses. By the 10th of September, the situation had reached a breaking point. Local businesses, increasingly frustrated by the ongoing panic and lack of answers, organized a mass protest, piling even more pressure onto the law enforcement officials. But despite the ever-heightened vigilance, the attacks continued. That same night, multiple homes were once again filled with the same familiar yet mysterious gas. Among them was the farmhouse of Stuart B. Scott and his wife, who had returned home late to find the air thick with the now infamous sickly sweet scent. As the reports piled up, authorities grew increasingly desperate to regain control of the situation, and the night of September 11th saw another wave of alleged attacks. But this time, officials decided to take a different approach to the reports. Instead of responding with urgency, this time they dismissed reports, treating them as merely false alarms. The following day, the 12th of September, Police Chief C.E. Cole issued a final statement on the matter in an attempt to put the hysteria to rest once and for all. In it, he blamed the entire episode on widespread industrial pollution, specifically carbon tetrachloride fumes, which he said were coming from a nearby Atlas diesel engine company, which he claimed had drifted into residential areas. It was an explanation that many found highly unconvincing. If factory emissions really were to blame, then why had so many victims reported seeing a figure fleeing from the scene of the attacks? And how could the chemicals account for the physical evidence which were found? Footprints, cut window screens, and that strange cloth discovered by Beulah Cordes, which made her face swell and bleed. The shift in the authorities' stance led to speculation that they were more concerned with ending the chaos than actually solving the potential crimes themselves. Then, on the 13th of September, came one final bizarre incident. Bertha Bench and her son Orville claimed that they had clearly seen the attacker, But instead of the usual description of a tall, thin man, they reported a woman, dressed in man's clothing. The next morning, investigators discovered footprints near their window, which appeared to have been made by high-heeled shoes. But then, just like that, the attacks stopped. The Mad Gasser of Mattoon was never seen again, and the case faded mysteriously into the realms of history unsolved. No suspect was ever caught, and no definitive explanation has ever emerged since. Some experts have suggested that mass hysteria played a major role in the whole phenomenon, that the war had created a tense atmosphere with so many men away fighting and the fear of an unseen enemy. It may have made the situation far worse. An idea planted of a prowler releasing mysterious gases into people's homes could have spread quickly, causing residents to misinterpret everyday occurrences as further confirmation of attacks happening in their town. But decades on, the theories continue to circulate without any conclusion at all. Was it just a simple case of mass hysteria, fueled by fear and wartime tension? Or was there truly something, or someone, more sinister, lurking out there in the Mattoon darkness? Regardless of the explanation, one thing remains certain: Mattoon was never quite the same again, and for as long as the mystery remains unsolved, one question lingers: might the Mad Gasser ever strike again?